You're going to tell me he's going to tell somebody that they're going to be safe, and he's going to send someone else to check up on them and not check up on them himself? I literally stopped recording for 1 or 2 days, and it seems like the whole entire world gets set on fire. So if you don't know, Cenat's name is being dragged through the mud over something that his friend did at a New Year's party. Before we get into that, let's start from the beginning. Apparently on January 6th, Jovi Pena, who is a TikToker with 120,000 followers, said she was assaulted at a party, and this was a party that Kai would have invited her to. In order to break the ice, I'm just going to give you her explanation of everything that happened. I was invited by Cenat. When I decided to leave home, he told me I'd be safer upstairs since I was drunk and nobody would bother me. However, after I fell asleep, since I thought I was safe due to there being security and Kai's confirmation, however, I wasn't safe, djigui seck walked into the room where I was asleep and brutally assaulted me to the point where I bled. When I woke up to see him still on top of me, I called him out and he told me that I was in his bed and that's why he did what he did. I was in shock. I called, texted my quote-unquote friend who invited me, but I got no answer, and I was told by the assaulter that he left, which I found out later to be a lie. He told me we can just keep it a secret and pretend nothing happened, but I was already traumatized by then. I asked him if he at least used protection, which he then showed me a dirty condom and said yes, a skins condom. Now I have to take medication for a month to make sure I don't catch any STDs. As you all know, those condoms only protect you from unwanted pregnancies and not STDs. I spent all day crying and processing what happened to me instead of enjoying my vacation in New York. At nighttime, I had dinner reservations, but I went to the emergency room instead as I was still in pain from what had happened to me. I described what the person looked like to my friend who had invited me, and he said he didn't know the person. However, after digging for a day and a half, I found the person's Instagram and that they had been friends for years. And this would be Cenat with the perpetrator, djigui seck. When we look at the text, she would accuse Kai for not helping her and say that Kai knew that his friend was assaulting her at the time. And while looking at the text, Kai would come off very shocked, asking her if she's crazy, but he would also say that he is getting info while he is speaking to her, so without a doubt, he was more than likely trying to handle the situation with the police. Jovi would continue with, "It's been 5 days since the incident and I haven't been able to sleep or eat properly. I haven't been able to socialize or go to work. This is all I think about 24/7. I'm not looking for attention. All I want is the justice I deserve. I want to stop him from hurting anyone else." You could really only imagine what kind of heinous thing like this would do to a person, especially mentally, because she did mention that it's been all that she's been thinking about 24/7. Really just reliving such a terrible moment in your life over and over again. This is why I can't stand people who would take advantage of others, because they have no idea what kind of damage they can cause to other people, and if they do, they just don't care. Otherwise, they wouldn't do what they do in the first place. I think we should try and understand why everyone is throwing Kai's name under the bus. Of course, Kai is not the one who treated this woman horribly. It was a friend of his. I don't know if you could even go as far as to call someone like that your friend, but hey, more power to you. You really think you know someone. And I will admit, I do feel bad for Kai because it's terrible to be associated with anyone who would do such a thing. And this is what the dude looks like. Honestly, I wouldn't put anything past him. I don't mean to shame this guy's appearance because I really do appreciate the reckless look, but I would be lying if I said he didn't look like a creep. But anyway, this is Kai's friend, and people are mad at Kai over what his friend did. Now, is that viable? Not at all. However, there is one thing that I think needs to be addressed when it comes to Kai's involvement in the entire situation. And this is something that no one is mentioning in the slightest. From her own words, she was invited to the party by Cenat. And then he told her that she would be safer upstairs and said that no one would bother her while she was drunk and upstairs. But this is the same place where she ended up getting taken advantage of. Let's make it clear, Kai does not deserve to be grouped in with his terrible friend. But if he told someone that they would be safe and they ended up not being safe, he is definitely responsible. And if you wanted to argue, you could say to a degree. When we take a look at the text, we understand that Kai sent someone to go check up on this girl while she was upstairs, rather than checking up on her himself. She says, "Is that the guy you sent to check in on me?" He says, "No, the guy I sent to check on you checked up on you and left. I literally seen it with my eyes. You opened the door halfway, asked if you was good, then came downstairs." I'm sorry, but that is the laziest shit I've ever heard of. You're going to tell me he's going to tell somebody that they're going to be safe, and he's going to send someone else to check up on them and not check up on them himself? You can give someone your word, but you can't give them the effort of checking in on them? That was just irresponsible, man. Very careless, but I get it. No one is perfect, and at parties, sometimes your state of mind isn't always going to be there. But to be honest, that's really no excuse. And of course, we don't know every single detail, but we're going to go off what we have with these messages. Jovi says, "Do you understand how embarrassing and how dirty I feel?" And you know what he said when I asked him why he did what he did? He said, "Because I was in his bed." And then Kai says, "No, the guy I sent to check on you checked up on you and left. I literally seen it with my eyes. You opened the door halfway, asked if he was good, then came downstairs." So if Kai actually seen with his own eyes that the guy he sent to check up on her opened the door and asked if she was good, then came downstairs, then wouldn't Kai know which room that she was sleeping in? If the guy's excuse for assaulting this girl was because she was sleeping in his bed, then he would know which room everything took place in, and that's if Kai actually saw the door get opened by the guy that he sent to check up on her. The lack of responsibility here was terrible, but I will say, moving forward with everything that's happened, Kai is making the right decisions by not jumping to anyone's side because we don't have both sides of the story. With that being said, almost anything can happen depending on what the other side of the story is. Now, before we wrap this up, guys, it's me, Deshaun. Just wanted to jump in and give my thoughts on this situation. I think that this is very, very unfortunate, and it kind of breaks my heart how this happened to this girl. Now, when it comes to Kai, I actually think he has a level of responsibility here, and it's very unfortunate because he's a very young guy with access to a lot of things that most people his age wouldn't have access to. In this situation, he was very irresponsible. As a man, when you say you're going to do something, you ultimately have to do it, especially in a situation like this. To have things going on in your house without you knowing is not only irresponsible, but extremely immature. If you are going to host or run anything, you need to make sure that you prioritize your guests' safety above anything else. God forbid if I'm a father and somebody's child were to stay the night at my house and something were to happen to them. That is on me because that occurred in my house. In this situation, it's different because they're both grown-ups, but this does not change the fact that this occurred in your house and you said she'd be good to stay there. Now, if you didn't say that she'd be good to stay there, this would be a completely different thing, but you can't sit here and make a promise and then not follow through on it. If you were to take the mantle and offer your crib up as a safe haven for somebody else, the least you could do is actually make sure that it's safe. If not, don't offer. I'd hate to be the guy to go to sleep at night in my same house thinking, dang, somebody just took advantage of a woman in here. The place I rest my head at night and bring girls over to do my business. Just thinking, dang, I could have prevented this if I would have been a little more mature or responsible. Now, by all means, Kai does not deserve to be deplatformed or canceled because everybody makes mistakes and this dude still has to learn. You guys just need to realize that anybody this young with this much opportunity is more prone to make mistakes with more weight. And this just so happened to be the outcome of one of those mistakes. Now, if I want to drop some truths, don't take this the wrong way, but this is why you can't necessarily rely on people from the hood. If you surround yourself with goons, some goon shit is most likely going to happen to you. And this irresponsibility is just a mere taste of that. Man, dog, nigga, the fuck? man, shit ain't got nothing to do with me, bro. Nah, man. You should already know how situations like this are going to get carried. You don't know what type of people they're inviting to their houses. You don't know what type of people they're banging with. All I gotta say is most goons be messing with some ugly ass ducks. So when they see a girl of this stature, they just can't keep their hands to themselves. Do not bang with these types of people. You need to stay safe. Do not stay the night at somebody's house that you do not know like that. No matter how much money, no matter how much clout they may have. Especially if they surround themselves around people that are either about that life or try to fake being about that life. Because when you do, you're more often than not surrounding yourself around the dangers that come with it. And that does not exclude being taken advantage of.